Welcome back to Twins at Law. I'm Michael Fletcher.
I'm Matthew Fletcher.
A lot of news this week, starting with we are going to break news.
Breaking news.
Went to Sports Center.
Flash.
All right. Breaking news is Clarence Thomas has announced that he's getting divorced from Ginni Thomas. Yes. Yeah. Well,
I watch TMZ every day, and I watch people. I didn't see a word.
Well, that's because
about Clarence Thomas.
They're not. Hey, I'm tied in with the Clarence Thomas crew.
You got some brother intuition with him, huh?
Do you think he knows a black guy? Do you think he does?
I'm thinking.
I bet you he doesn't.
You don't think he goes to the local barbershop? Black barbershop?
Positive he does not.
I thought you were in your mind that this divorce decree this divorce action was coming about because he was sitting at the barbershop talking to the brothers, and he said, "I'm getting divorced. I'm leaving that woman." And then someone said, "Half."
And then he said, what do you mean by half? And they said, well,
there's a comedian named
Eddie Murphy,
black fella. Oh, I don't know him. So tell me what this half.
So what some of you may have heard about is Clarence Thomas, senior Supreme Court judge, wrote a concurring opinion in which we've thrown out Roe v. Wade. Now, here's why it's important, and it's not all that significant. It's just 50 years of jurisprudence.
Yeah, but we still got to go back to why is this significant? Why is he getting a divorce?
Well, because he has to get a divorce because he didn't have to get a divorce, but he wanted to get a divorce, and so the way he figured out he could get a divorce is
and not lose half.
That what he would do is make interracial marriage unconstitutional.
Because if it's unconstitutional, it means it's against the law. He would be breaking the law if he stayed in this marriage with this wonderful woman that he loved.
He's like, "Ginni, I love you, baby, but it's the law.
I can't break the law.
I can't break the law, honey."
I'm a role model.
And she goes, "But boy." He goes, yes, Miss Ginni. Yes, Miss Ginni.
Miss Ginni, I want to stay with you, but I can't. It's against the law. I am a role model to African-American professors and lawyers, and I have to follow the law.
But think about this, and we're just making fun of this whole Roe v. Wade because it's so utterly absurd.
One of the things we are going to do over and over and over on this is we are going to explain to you complicated shit in uncomplicated ways. What Clarence Thomas just did is he took 50 years of precedent. 50 years.
But isn't the Supreme Court supposed to not follow precedent?
No.
They're supposed to follow precedent.
Not when it comes to women. Not when it comes to women. And the other thing you got to remember about Thomas's opinion, he literally tells you, by the way,
go get these gay dudes.
He says very clearly that the right to have a same-sex marriage is based upon the same bullshit that Roe v. Wade is. He also says, and this is what it's always been about, in my opinion, they can ban contraception because Griswold v. Connecticut, which is the Supreme Court case that established essentially your right to have contraception, it's based upon the same bullshit that Roe v. Wade was. And he says in his opinion, he dissented a little bit from Alito because Alito said, this is only going to affect abortion.
That's when he went, wait a minute. If I make it unconstitutional to be married to my wife, I don't have to pay half.
Zero.
Boom.
Zero.
He said, that's it.
Zero.
That's it.
You don't have to pay.
That is it. He said, but I can't say it out loud. So I'm going to I'm not going to say Loving v. Virginia or Virginia v. Loving.
And that's the case that made it legal for people to marry whoever you want.
That's why it's illegal now.
Clearly making jokes about are all the things that are impacted by this insanity. And it is insanity. I mean, you are literally establishing, based upon a theory that Clarence Thomas and these people who literally lied to the Senate, said, I will not overturn Roe v. Wade. I will not overturn it. Every single one of these three judges, including Clarence Thomas, said they would not overrule Roe v. Wade and a woman's right to not die.
He says it's established law.
Super precedent, they said in some places.
But this goes back to my line. Now we're multicultural, so we can make jokes about everyone. But this is my point about, this is like the white guy driving home drunk and hit like 9 cars. I told you I'd be just fine. Aren't white people kind of worried about this Supreme Court? Because it's now, the dishonesty about what they're going to do and not do. This is devastating for women. This goes to the core of being a woman. I was making fun of my kids the other day, and I said, if my kids are not burning shit down, they're missing the point, because this is just about women being secondary citizens. That's it.
I still don't get the white guy driving home drunk.
Because white guys have an excuse for everything. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. I got it under control. The white people are the ones that put these people on that Supreme Court.
The reality is Clarence Thomas is white, so that
there weren't any brothers going, you know what we need? We need a brother who
Uncle Tom.
Oh my God, he is.
We need a super president, Uncle Tom.
Think about this though. If you say Clarence Tom, it's an Uncle Tom play. That was
words.
Uncle Thomas, and he is an Uncle Tom, dude. We can say that.
I don't know if he is, because I tell you this. What he's done, and
do you think he would stop black people from being beaten on the streets?
As long as it didn't include him, he would. Uncle Thomas. Clarence Thomas literally has made a decision where he says, I will do what I'm told to do.
It's stunning.
I will accept my position so long as it does not impact me. He's more famous now. He's more revered,
which is why he had to get divorced.
It's like, what's the point in having fame and fortune if I got to stay with this?
Do you think he did the white? He look at his white chick calculator? Oh yeah, this ought to get me another white chick for sure.
But maybe he's evolving. Maybe he's woke.
Could you imagine Clarence Thomas trying to hit on his sister right now? She'd be like,
sure. This Southern Baptist black folks are just as crazy as the Southern Baptist white folks. When you're talking about if you are raped, your daughter, when you talk about bad day for women, it's bad day for fathers, bad day for grandfathers, bad day when someone says, your daughter was raped, she's pregnant. If you kill the man, we'll put you in prison, but that baby's going to be born. That's a real, real bad day for any father, grandfather, or anyone who, quite frankly, cares about women.
It also, one of the interesting things about this impact, it points to the divide in the African American and Caucasian communities, where his vitriol on homosexuality, I mean, he meant it, dude. He wasn't joking around on that shit. He's like, and get the gay guys because they're bad. And it's almost like he's in this diatribe, and it's just about gay people. He threw out those precedents relative to gay people or equal rights, and he meant it.
Well,
he wasn't joking.
It's the joke. It's like I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I love you, I love you. I mean, I hate you, I love you.
I think that his rhetoric relative to the cases involving gay rights and homosexuality and things like that was so standalone. I mean, he was adamant about that. He specifically talked about the 3 cases, 2 involving homosexual rights and then contraception. But man, that's when he talked to, it's like, what have gay guys done to you, dude? Gay people.
He said it with enthusiasm.
He meant it.
Truly means it. Now, is it based upon, what's the motivation? Is it that he's secretly gay and he doesn't want this around him? Is it that Ginni has said that these gay people are doing this? Because quite frankly, anytime the party for limited government generally is the Republican Party they claim, and he's clearly Republican, his wife's clearly Republican, they clearly worked to overthrow the election, clearly. But literally what you're talking about is a situation where he has his marching orders.
And getting divorced is just icing on the cake.
It goes along with it, especially if he's able to deal with the gay tendencies he's fighting. But you can't tell me that the guy has a gay friend and you literally woke up one day and then said, I'm going to prevent you from marrying another man or another woman who's an adult and is competent. And if you knew a gay person, you knew a gay couple, and hadn't just heard of them, I assume.
So do you think he doesn't know any gay people either?
Certainly doesn't.
Wow.
How could you?
Man, that'd be a hard one, dude.
How could you?
That would be.
How could you look somebody who you claim, if we're talking about a friend, you say, does he have a gay friend? You can look a friend in the face and say, you're less than me. You're not human enough to be allowed to marry. You're too stupid to figure out who you should marry, so I have to stop you.
Why do seemingly white men, and which would include Clarence Thomas, why are white men so concerned about gay people homosexuality? Why is that? I have a theory.
What's your
It's because they're really gay. Because any heterosexual dude, I'm like, I want 95% of men to be gay. Now I'm heterosexual and single. But my point is why do you give a shit?
There's so many gay black dudes and brown dudes, and they sit there and espouse the same bullshit.
My question is, get white or black or Latino, whatever. Why are men so obsessed with gay dudes?
That's the joke. I hate you. I hate you. I mean, I love you. I mean, I hate you. I hate you. I love you. I mean, I hate you. I mean, I love you. Which one is it? I'm not sure.
Why do they care?
Because they care. It's not
but
why.
There has to be a reason for your caring.
Once you've established that they care, it doesn't matter what the reason is. The reason is secondary to the result. The result is this man has just told every gay, lesbian, transgender, and you know he doesn't include transgender people as people.
Oh my God.
You know that. That just the hatred that he has for gay people can't even be compared to what it has to be for transgender.
But my question is,
it's about deniability, Mike. These people want to sit there. If I don't see it, it doesn't happen. It's in kids, you call it magical thinking. If I don't think about it and I don't see it, then I'm not gay. Because the reality is, a party or group that believes in limited government certainly can't say, I believe that I have the right to know what you're doing in your bedroom. These are anti-sodomy laws. He doesn't want people to commit sodomy to him. What the fuck is that? If you're not talking about the most invasive intrusion into the homes of Americans, then these anti-gay laws, you can't come up with anything clearer.
But what's
except Griswold, which goes directly to a woman's right to have contraception. You're talking of Griswold originated by somebody, a man and a woman wanted to have contraception.
Let me put it this way.
They said you can't have it.
I understand Griswold so much clearer. It's just men wanting to control women. That's easy for me. That is just men. I'm the man. I get to do whatever I want. That makes sense. The gay thing is the one I don't understand because it's why do you give a shit? If you're not sucking dick, why do you care?
Because it's my favorite saying in the world. Brainwashing works. These people have been brainwashed to have their country back. You can't have gay people because God knows there were no gay people.
But by the way, this goes to this goes to his assessment. He does his legal termination. The way these guys argued, if it wasn't contemplated in 1776, whenever the Constitution was written, if it wasn't contemplated then it didn't exist. The one thing that absolutely existed in 1776 were gay men. Gay men, there were people at the Continental Congress sucking dick.
Bullshit.
There were.
You tell me.
They were all white guys. White guys don't suck dick.
Wait. Bunch of white guys who put on white high stockings and wigs. You're telling me.
Dude, they were...
Come on, man.
That's a good one, dude. I never thought about it.
I don't know.
But
it's not transgender.
But by the way, if you look at the analysis on the originalists, they say if it wasn't contemplated by the original framers, it's a right that's not conveyed. The one event that was routinely done, unless of course homosexuality is a fairly new event, 1975 was gay sex. And so if you look at it from their context or in the way they say, that is the one right or the one potential right that could be protected because there were gay people in 1776. There were.
You got to be fair about it, man. They certainly weren't loud. There was nobody openly gay in 1776.
Oh, I don't think that's true at all. I think there were plenty of openly gay people.
Well, we're not talking about the French people.
No. But I don't think if you look at the history there, especially back then, it was kind of more liberal in some weird ways. Have you read this thing about breaking the buck?
No,
dude, it was the most. And maybe it's just wrong. Breaking a buck was at least in the slavery days of America's slavery is the gay slaveholders raping slaves, men who were difficult.
The bucks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it's fucked up, dude.
Well, they used to shit in their mouths so that they treated gay or enslaved people like trash and animals to be raped. Is not news, but I'm telling you, you're fucking wrong if you think there were openly gay people in 17.
I'm not saying they're openly gay. I'm just saying that factually speaking, the one event that would have, put it this way, equal protection, what they weren't thinking, hey, I think we should make sure that African Americans, Asian Americans, and women are treated equally. So when they wrote the equal protection clause, that had nothing to do with people of color or women.
Right.
But when they wrote the Constitution, there were people actively engaged in homosexual acts. And so if you apply so you don't think there were homosexual acts in 1776?
There were homosexual acts, but when they talk about contemplate, it has to be something that was known. But
They didn't say
one part about that you are correct about is when the Equal Protection Clause was passed or was included in it, it did not relate to women. It did not apply to black men or brown men or Asian men or yellow men or red men. It did not apply at all. And it's certainly, this is, if you're an originalist,
I'm an originalist.
Clarence Thomas is true to his words. Because at the time the Constitution was enacted and ratified some whatever number of years later, it was never intended to protect a woman's right to have contraception. She was the property of her man, of her husband. And what people aren't getting or hasn't soaked in yet is, what about marital rape?
Oh yeah, but again,
marital rape, that was not a crime. That was fully legal.
But again, this is why the pundits are so shitty. Is no one's saying those things. No one's saying, by the way, if this is the standard, and by the way, what Clarence Thomas and the boys are arguing is that unless the framers of the Constitution were anticipating or contemplating a right, it did not exist. This is from a group of all white men who you could rape your wife whenever you wanted. You could rape really anyone you wanted, and nothing would happen.
Slaves?
Oh yeah.
You know, but
it wasn't even rape if it was a slave. It wasn't rape.
It wasn't rape if it was your wife.
But these are the people who today.
So so let's finish it out the thought. So if you apply the logic and the reason of Clarence Thomas, who says that what he says
is getting divorced.
We broke that news already. Who says there is no protection when they say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That does not include, in his opinion, the right to marry who you want, the right to have contraception.
Well, if you're gay.
The right, period.
He argues that it doesn't apply to loving because loving is based upon the Equal Rights Amendment as opposed to procedural.
Okay. Well, if anyone thinks that at the time the framers wrote the Constitution,
Clarence Thomas does.
Black men and white women.
You think Clarence Thomas is mistaken about his position? Oh, I'm different. He's the Quinton. You know who he is? Here's one of my favorite lines.
I know.
Well, I can prove this. Let me prove this though. This is who Clarence Thomas is. How come when you go to a club and there's one brother in there, he's the biggest dick you've ever met? But if you go to a black club and there's one white guy, he's the coolest dude. Clarence Thomas is the one dick in the fucking room who thinks he's different.
What y'all doing here? You don't want to bore everyone with going over a constitutional law class, but the reality is this, is that Clarence Thomas and the most recent nominees of the Supreme Court have literally turned the legal world on its head. Because when you have accepted precedents, there's the laws.
They overruled Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade said that women had as pursuant to their right of privacy, women had a right to have an abortion because
their presumed right of privacy. Because Clarence Thomas just said there is no right to privacy, essentially, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about the law until yesterday.
That's the funny part.
Roe v. Wade said a woman had a right to privacy based upon the premise that. Although the Constitution doesn't say it, there is an inferred right that it would extend to people's pursuit of happiness and whatever the other shit is. And so Clarence Thomas comes back and says, well, that really is not written into the Constitution.
It wasn't named in the Constitution. It was also not named in the Constitution.
There's a right of privacy in the Constitution, but not the procedural side.
Well, what's also not written in the Constitution, not contemplated, is gay marriage. Arguably raping your wife, because clearly at the time they were property. It certainly wasn't contemplated that there'd be free black people.
So what they did is they overruled Roe v. Wade, which for the last 50 years gave women a right to have an abortion, particularly in cases of incest or rape. The laws that exist now in at least 9 states, it's going to be 26, is that if you are raped or you're a victim of incest, you cannot have an abortion. And it's,
what's the caveat to everything? The caveat is it doesn't apply to you if you're rich. Anyone can get on an airplane, anyone can afford the doctor, will be able to get any abortion, anytime, regardless of the length of pregnancy or the duration of how long they've been pregnant. It never has changed. There will continue to be abortions performed, but they're going to be limited to people who have money and women who have money. And one of the things, what this leads to, everybody, is that's why there's this push for national ban on abortion. And that might be all right for white, moneyed men who certainly wouldn't let their daughters have, black guy, fuck me, we're getting an abortion. And they can. And they can.
But it also, and relatedly, is then what they've done is take the same reasoning from Roe v. Wade that they used to overrule Roe v. Wade, and they extended it to the right to engage in sex with a person of your choosing. Lawrence v. Texas said it was a felony to engage in sodomy, preferably, almost specifically sodomy with another man, or was it sodomy heterosexual and homosexual?
I don't know. I've been a lawyer for 25 years. I hate to get caught up in the legal bullshit. Here's the reality. That Lawrence v. whoever or Connecticut v. whatever, those are just the names that lawyers use to identify specific cases. The results that come out of it are pretty easy to understand. If you're gay, you can't get married. If you're gay, you can't have sex. If you're a woman, you can't get abortion. If you're a woman, you're arguably not going to be able to get contraception. Period. End of fucking story. And that's all they're trying to do is to get to this point where they started at, is they want to get back to the original meaning of America, which was there will be no black people. It's like what's the joke about NBC? No blacks or coloreds. And that's where we're at.
Unless it's the weekend. You ever notice that? Oh, my God. We need every black and brown person we have on the set.
But not too black.
Not too black.
And you cannot be too black. And the only parts you can work in, weather and sports.
No. On the weekend they'll put you on the lead desk. The other part, and I think this will what we'll end with is that I think that the gay portion or the anti-gay portion is just icing on the cake. Because to me, it's just wanting to control women. And they're just like, oh, and we can get gay guys too? Well, let's knock them all the fuck off.
2 for 1.
And then we get the news, which is, oh, and I can get divorced, right? Yes, you can.
Ultimately, it comes down to half. All of these rights were wiped out because Clarence Thomas did not want to
pay half.
And
I broke that news.
I'm not going to tell you how to fix it. I'm not going to fucking tell you what to do. I'm going to just tell you it's wrong. But you've heard people say, well, Clarence Thomas has to recuse himself. He's never going to recuse himself. You've heard them say they're going to pack the court, which means instead of having 9 justices, we'll put 9 more on and then we'll vote it out. That's not going to happen because Biden isn't going to do it. Just like he said he's going to let out people who are in jail for weed possession. He's not going to do it. There is a systemic problem that you have with politicians. You know what that is? They're politicians. They will tell you one thing and then do exactly the opposite.
The problem is it's Democratic politicians who can't do shit.
You don't think the Democrats... We'll see if the Democrats...
They're not going to do
shit. We'll see if they're the party.
Here's what's going to happen. Zero.
Exactly.
Zero is going to happen, and it's going to happen because they don't give a shit. If you... Imagine this today. If you are a woman, you woke up fucking today, and you turn back 50 fucking years. 50 years. You can't... I mean...
There are children of gay folks out there who are worrying that their mom and dad, or their mom and dad are going to go to jail.
100%. 100%.
And they should.
And you want, and you.
And let me finish real quick. And this argument that it only affects red states is wrong. If you're a gay man and you fly your ass into Alabama, you're a fool.
Yeah, but and that's true. And if you're a black dude, well, you live there.
Don't go with a white one.
Right. But it's but the other part of this, and this is what drives you crazy about the Democratic Party, is you're such bitches. If this does not put you at a point of you cross the fucking line, then nothing will. And mark my words, they will not. There will not be any Democratic leaders that say, this is horseshit. Well, you're trying to enslave my daughter, because that's what this is.
You can't argue about enslaving daughters if you're calling them bitches. Or Democrats are bitches, but you're wrong.
Yeah, no, I didn't say bitches in a gender-specific way. Don't lecture me on that.
Before you came on, didn't you break the news that Joe Biden says that we're the leader on what?
I don't know, but the issue is this.
So and this is something he said.
No,
we're the leader on
it's
abortion.
The Democrats, and they're full of shit. And women, and this idea that people aren't just pissed. And it's crazy. It's because we get caught up in this nonsense about abortion. It's not about abortion. It's about controlling women. Women should be fucking pissed. Men should be fucking pissed. And it's just the shitty Democrats being led by dumb fucking Joe Biden who says, I won't pack the court. What else do you need? What else does Joe Biden need to make a fucking decision, dude? We disenfranchised women, all fucking women, and now we threw in all the gay people, and now we throw in, as an added bonus, icing, interracial people, and that's not enough for fucking Joe Biden?
He's going to have to think about it.
Dude, it's painful. It's fucking painful. This
More
is
painful than him watching him fall off the bike.
Dude, that was classic, though, man. He fell in like slow motion. It's like, move.
What was the music for the Three Stooges? Or so Charlie Chaplin.
Joe.
Watching the guy fall off the thing, you just think, like, that's our leader.
Fucking dude, he's an idiot. But
Leader.
But more importantly, it's the Democrats are idiots. And if the Democratic Party, and they won't, this is why the Republicans win, they'll at least do something.
But that's what you have to love about Republicans and the Conservative Party. They literally understand the theory about, the mountain doesn't bow to the wind. They say, we're going to do this, and we know you're such fuck-ups.
There's nothing you can do.
There's not a chance that you'll do anything back.
Dude, it's like what we found out.
Chris Rock after he got slapped in the face.
Yeah.
You're going to talk about it.
Wow. It's like Joe Biden, though, when we found out that he had still not pardoned nonviolent marijuana convictions. I'm like, this motherfucker would not, if it wasn't for black and brown people, this motherfucker would be,
this is where
he would be in a crack house with fucking, what's his kid's name?
Hunter.
Him and Hunter would be in a crack house smoking crack if it wasn't for black and brown people. And still.
But this is where you're wrong. You're attributing an evil motive to Joe Biden.
I'm not saying, no.
The easiest answer is, the motherfucker forgot. He forgot.
See, I don't think he thought about it, dude. He's the one that passed the crime.
He thought about it, he forgot.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, dude. If we don't fix the justice system, it's over.
Right.
It's done. And this opinion is jaw-dropping.
Yeah. And one of the things you folks got to understand is that it truly have a belief that the fix is in. And the fix is in for rich, well-connected people. The fix is not in for black, brown, and poor people. And
just the other side of the
what
fix.
you got to know for certainty, it sure the fuck ain't in for women.
Yeah, it's tragic. But we can do something in theory. But it starts with, you have to just cut to the fucking chase. This is about controlling women. This is about making women second-class citizens, which they literally This is Brown v. Board of Education.
That's next.
It could be. I don't think that's equal, but whatever it is, it's still so fucking extraordinary. This is why I go back to white people. White chicks aren't white women right now going, maybe we should have taken this a little more serious. All right, I gotta pee.
Greatest part of
It's a wrap.